Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Earth Day for our event, Safe Water Needs Skilled People. And thank you for supporting Water First, whether as a community partner, a donor, or a champion. The work we do would not be possible without you. As we gather on Earth Day, our hope is that you'll learn a little bit more about the important work that Water First is doing in collaboration with community partners to address water challenges across the country. Water First acknowledges that our main office in Creemore, Ontario, lies within the traditional territory of the Petun and Anishinaabeg people, including the Odawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations. As we gather here today from many different places, I think it's important to recognize that this work around water, around land, is rooted in relationships, not just in where we are, but in how we show up in relation to the land and water around us. With that, it is now my honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Jeanette Corbier-Lavelle, an Anishinaabe community worker from Wikwemikong unceded territory.
Now, miigwech. That's my little drinking cup for water today. Good way once that Anishinaabe, one Anishinaabe family. The Benjamin Gisan Anishinaabe king, give it gonan, kinegum nida wadzawin. Creator placed the Anishinaabe on earth along with the gift of spirituality. Shkude, nibe, ake, noden. Gibet gusnon, we nagadwen mang mam pish kakmigang. Here on Mother Earth, there were gifts given to the Anishinaabe to look after fire, water, earth, and wind. The Benjaget Giminan when Dago Anishinaabe and Wa Nagadunjin Ninda Nijwaswa Kinomadwanen. The Creator also gave the Anishinaabe 7 sacred gifts to guide them. They are Sagedwen, Debwewen, Mnadendamowen, Bwakawen, the Bosendiswen, Goikwadzawen, Minoa Akadewen. Love, truth, respect, wisdom, humility, honesty, and bravery. The Benjaget Kiminiguna Dedebinwe we Nagduendmowen. Creator gave us sovereignty to govern ourselves. Kamina denda managabe juebuk, mino anungo megwa ejuebuk, mino giabe one ejuebuk. We respect and honor the past, the present, and the future. So that is our prayer that we say within our nation, especially when we're getting together and talking about something. Well, it could be anything, but it is appropriate today because we are all part of humanity. What I would like to do is share with you, because one of the elements that we mentioned in a prayer is water. And many of you already know the water walker, Josephine Mandaman. And we say Josephine Bub because she's gone into the spirit world. But she's the one who had that vision. She had that dream. And it was her challenge and her guidance from her guardians to do this work. And she started the water walk from the dream that she had. And water, as we all know, is so important. It's vital to everybody. When we think about people living on this planet, we are at the bottom. All the rest of the living beings, all the creatures, everything, they are complete within themselves. It is only us as human beings, we need them, we depend on them. And it is our responsibility to ensure that they continue so we can continue as well. Water is life, reciprocity, responsibilities, and hope. We've known for a long time that water is alive. Water can hear you. Water can sense what you are saying and what you are feeling. There's been a place where I put tobacco in the water, where the water is so still, it was dead. I prayed for it. I put my tobacco in the water, and my tobacco started floating around. So the water came alive. It heard my prayers. It heard the song. So I know it listens and it can come alive if you pay attention to it. Give it respect and it can come alive. Like anything, like the person who is sick, if you give them love, take care of them, they'll come alive. They'll feel better. It's the same with our mother, the earth, and the water. Give it love. It is our responsibility, our role, our duty to pass on the knowledge and understanding of water to all people, not just Anishinaabe people, but people of all colors.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. What that really reminds me of is the reminder that water is not just something we manage, it's something we have a relationship and a responsibility to. And I think that really grounds the work that we're going to be talking about today. So, miigwech.
Uh,
We are incredibly grateful to have leaders like Jeanette guiding Water First approach through our Indigenous Advisory Circle. Well, here at Water First, we know that clean water and a healthy planet go hand in hand, and protecting both starts with how we care for the earth. Water First works in partnership with Indigenous communities to address local water challenges through education, training, and meaningful collaboration. The theme of today's event, Safe Water Needs Skilled People, is truly a thread that runs through all of our programming here at Water First. At both the local and national level, our programs support safe, clean water in communities, always aligning with the goals and priorities of the communities that we work with. Through these partnerships, we consistently hear the same need, which is to strengthen the water workforce, to recruit more community members into the sector, to ensure that there are trained operators as others retire, especially in communities where one person might be carrying that responsibility alone, to support community-led water quality monitoring, and lastly, to create visible career pathways for young people who haven't seen themselves in these roles before. Too often, the barrier is the same. There aren't locally accessible, available training opportunities to make that possible. So our community members know what they need for safe, clean water, and Water First's highly skilled educators and technical trainers work alongside communities to meet those goals. And as Jeanette shared, when we center Indigenous values, knowledge, and approaches to water governance, it strengthens how water is understood and cared for, something that we can all benefit from. So with that in mind, we have a short video to share from our school water team, and then I will introduce our next speaker.
We dropped that rope and fished it out almost as many times as we collected samples. This was one of those days where learning just kind of unfolded naturally. Learners dove into water science through the lens of healthy water coming from a healthy habitat. Everywhere we looked, we found life. In the soil, the plants, the sky, and in the water itself. At this pond, learners took turns casting our plankton net and pulling it back to collect samples. Every tiny creature we found was carefully examined and then returned to its home. The excitement was contagious. We spotted a nearby nesting eagle through binoculars, gently dug and returned worms to the soil, and used a handheld microscope to see the shine on a beetle's exoskeleton and the intricate foam-like structures hidden in the cattails surrounding the pond. It was hands-on, full of curiosity, and by the end of the day, it was clear. Water sustains life in so many interconnected ways.
Now I would like to introduce Rachel Smith-Young, the school water coordinator with our school water program. Rachel has a background in Indigenous environmental studies and sociology and works with students of all ages. Can you tell us a little bit more about the school water program?
Yeah, for sure. So in School Water, we work with Indigenous learners between kindergarten up to grade 12, and our programs focus on introducing water science concepts as well as career pathways. So as you were mentioning, through mentorship with local community members and seeing kind of the water science roles that they can take on in their community when they grow up.
Amazing. It's helpful to see how those early connections can start. And with it being Earth Day today, can you speak to the idea of land and water as a teacher?
For sure, yes. So land and water as a teacher is a pedagogy or a way of teaching that we really emphasize in school water. And it pretty much means that we seek out opportunities to learn from the land and water herself. And that really connects back to what Jeanette was saying of the land and water being alive and being able to do the teaching herself. So an example of that is similar to in the video, you saw students investigating a cattail or different aquatic plants, letting them go out on the land and do that themselves and learn from the land directly. We find is so much more impactful than me creating a slideshow of the structure of a cattail plant, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it really shifts how we think of learning in a traditional setting for sure.
Mhm.
I know you have a couple stories that highlight this approach from the work that you did in Beausoleil and Rama First Nations. Did you want to share a few?
Yeah, for sure. So in Beausoleil, this was during our grade 9 geography credit program, and we were on a hike with the students and a community member named Tiffany Ruffett, who was talking to the students about kind of the history and future of sustainable planning in the community. And we had stumbled upon a blackberry patch on the hike, and the students were like, "Oh, cool! Like, can we stop and pick berries?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's stop and pick berries." And it was just a really cool moment because not only was it fun, but it connected back to the food sustainability and food systems part of the curriculum in just such a natural way. And it was just a really good example of the land being a teacher herself in that case.
I think what stands out here is how those early hands-on experiences can really shape how young people connect to the water and develop that sense of relationship in a long and lasting way. So, up next, we have a short video, and then we'll hear from our next speaker.
Water is important, and providing your community with safe drinking water is a pretty big role in the community.
Hello, I'm Jody Toronto, and I'm from Los Saskatchewan First Nation. I am a water operator and a wastewater operator. The Water First program's a good program to get into because it gets you more hands-on, and I wanted to go into it to learn different aspects of it to run my water treatment plant.
Well, it'll mean great things for the future of the community to have another person that'll be as qualified as I am, that has the knowledge that I have for a water treatment plant. And overall, it just really takes a lot of stress off of my shoulders to have someone that'll be here.
I had a great support system. Gives me assurance that I'm playing a part in the community, I guess. I didn't realize how important this part was.
I would now like to introduce Kayla Morales, technical trainer and coordinator in the Drinking Water Internship. Kayla is an environmental scientist and has been working with interns in Northwestern Ontario. Kayla, welcome. Could you tell us a little bit about the Drinking Water Internship?
I would love to. It's a 15-month technical training internship where interns are partnered with their communities and guided through the process of becoming licensed water treatment operators. And we do a lot of support with interns during this internship, which I personally love that we provide that. That includes 8 to 10 in-person training workshops, weekly online tutorials, weekly one-on-ones. Like they're never left to kind of figure things out by themselves. And I really appreciate the fact that we provide that that community with them and really accompanying them throughout the whole process. And at the end of the program, they are able to challenge 5 different water treatment certifications during the course of the internship. And I believe it might have, one of our last speakers was talking about how, it might have been you in the introduction actually, mentioning how a big battle or a big hurdle is the fact that a lot of those trainings and a lot of those exams are not typically available where the communities are. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, our theme today is safe water needs skilled people. So how does that shape your approach in the internship?
The fact that we need skilled people to deliver safe drinking water to community. Without these skilled licensed drinking water operators, these plants can't operate properly to deliver that safe water to the communities. And many of the communities that we work with, and I believe it was Jody in the video mentioned, have very limited capacity of how many people are actually able to run these plants. And that can be a real hindrance for the people who are actually able to run the plant.
Yeah, I think that ties that back to the bigger picture for sure. Now, I know the internship you're leading is coming to a close. Can you walk us through the journey of what it's been like? like?
It has been such a dream. I have had a great time, and I'm hoping that the interns also have too. From what I hear, they have. But I'm working with the AKRC communities up in Northwestern Ontario. We have 8 interns graduating, and this is actually our 7th drinking water internship. We have an 8th one also being done concurrently. And we started this specific internship in February 2025, and they will be graduating in the beginning of May, so less than a month before this internship is done and these interns are graduated. They've challenged all of the necessary exams to become a Class 1 certified drinking water operator. And actually, most of our interns are currently at the Aboriginal Water and Wastewater Association of Ontario's conference in Sault Ste. Marie. So they're out there, they're making connections, they're learning about the industry, not just from us and not just from their peers, but also actually going out and meeting people.
Well, thank you so much, Kayla. I think it's really clear to see how these technical skills directly translate into real world impacts in communities. So we are going to watch one more short video and then we'll welcome our final speakers.
What's not to love? You get to work outdoors, it's physical. Even when the weather's rough, it's great.
I wanted to get involved because I wanted to learn more and educate myself more on the impacts, especially to sustain our food source.
When I'm in training, I love seeing the problem solving that comes with environmental work. Whether our participants are out on the water, learning to set nets, out on the land, learning to do a snow survey, making their first map. There's always some new challenge, some unexpected problem that needs to be solved. And seeing people get creative and figure out solutions in those tough moments, that's just a great time for me as a trainer. I love getting to see that creative spark.
Some of the most important things I learned in the field was to leave the land as you came to it. Respect Mother Earth. Don't be scared of water. Get in it.
The more we know, the better it is for us. To sustain our lakes and rivers and ponds and fish and all the impacts as well.
Up next, I am pleased to welcome Keegan Smith, Internship Development Manager with the Environmental Water Department. He oversees our environmental internship program and develops and delivers technical training workshops for our community partners. Welcome, Keegan. Keegan, can you tell us about the 2 ways that we partner with communities through our environmental water program?
Absolutely. So we have 2 program streams, our community-based projects and our environmental water internship. So longtime Water First supporters will be familiar with our community-based projects. We've been doing those for about 10 years now. And in that model, we partner directly with communities or Indigenous organizations, and we provide training to help them address environmental problems on their territory. The Environmental Water Internship is a newer initiative. Our first class just graduated last fall. It uses a similar structure to what Kayla described for the drinking water internship. So it's a 15-month program. It trains individuals to enter an environmental career. The program certifies interns to monitor water quality, manage environmental data, and protect fish and other aquatic life. During the program, interns have a paid work placement in their local lands and resources office, so they're getting paid throughout the whole process, and they balance both work experience and training with us.
Amazing. That's a really clear way to understand how the program is structured. Can you share an example of a recent project with a community partner and how it may have impacted that community?
Yes, I would love to. I'd like to share about our ongoing work with the Waterways Collective in Serpent River First Nation. Clay, are you able to pull up the photos? In 2025, this was early last year. Quinn Miawaske reached out to us. He's the leader of a paddling and youth group called the Waterways Collective. They're based in Serpent River First Nation. And the collective were concerned about the historic contamination from uranium mining on their territory that happened back mainly in the 50s and 60s. And they wanted to learn how to monitor impacted areas to know if they're safe. So last summer, our team joined them for a teaching workshop on water quality monitoring and sediment sampling. So in practice in the field, this looked like a mix of learning in the classroom, learning out on the land, on the shoreline, and in boats, and supporting them to collect the samples that they needed. So after looking at some preliminary results, the group has decided to invite us back for another workshop this coming summer to continue and expand on the training.
Amazing. Great example of the impact at a community level. Well, today's theme is Safe Water Needs Skilled People. How does that inform the relationship between our programs?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we all know that nothing good happens in the world without skilled and dedicated people to care and take action. At the same time, local communities often struggle with the capacity to ensure that those skilled people have the resources they need to do what they do best. So our programs serve both people as individuals to gain those skills, and at the same time, we also work with communities by contributing to that larger process of capacity building. And this is a theme that resonates from the global level all the way down to the local level. So right now, the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues is meeting in New York. Canada's Governor General Mary Simon is there. She's spoken about the need for Indigenous voices at the international level. And there's been wide recognition around the world that Indigenous leadership is an essential part of conservation and environmental protection. Here in Canada, Indigenous folks work every day to assert their rights and protect the environment. Sometimes they are called on to put their safety at risk to defend land and biodiversity. So there are countless amazing role models for the learners that we serve. So how do we help them to get where those role models are? Our programs support learners at every age group and every level of experience. So our schools team starts things off early, working with youth, getting them excited about water science, showing them what's possible in their future. Our internship programs then support people who are just beginning a career in the environmental field or in drinking water treatment. And then finally, our community-based programs, we're able to work with people at any experience level, from youth groups like Quinn's Waterways Collective up to established professionals. We've worked with land managers associations in the past to build the skills that they need to excel in whatever it is that their community needs.
And now we're going to hear from somebody who's actually gone through the program himself. So next up, we have a graduate from the first environmental internship, Caleb Fournier, who is currently working as an environmental assistant with the Water First team. So welcome, Caleb.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Desiree.
So you're a recent graduate from the environmental water internship. Can you tell us a bit about why you were originally interested in this program?
So yeah, basically I had a lot of passion for working in the outdoors. So then once I seen this post, I was like, that's my type of field. So I'm just really interested in this type of work, and it's been really great so far.
Amazing. It's always nice to hear what kind of draws people in at the beginning. So that's cool. Now, what was a highlight for you from the internship?
Ooh, there's a bunch of highlights. Probably when the fish unit. So there was like mostly fishing and fish sampling, and just having going outside all the time and spending a lot of time with everybody and good memories.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure those are some of those moments that really stay with you. Now that you've joined the Water First team as an environmental assistant through our Indigenous Career Initiative, what have you been working on?
So they've been basically traveling a lot lately, this past like 10 weeks or so. But during working on a upcoming project this summer in Cree Nation in Numska for like fish project monitoring. But yeah, it's pretty exciting to go back up there. I'm looking forward to it.
No, that's great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Caleb and Keegan. I think this really shows how this work can build from learning to training to careers. So, miigwech, thank you so much. So, Jeanette, you've been supporting Water First as an IAC member for the last 10 years now. Can you share what your work with Water First means to you?
In the very beginning, I was a little skeptical because I thought, well, what can a group like this from the outside of our communities do to help us within our communities dealing with this big difficulty that many have with safe drinking water. And I'm so glad that I stayed because now I see the training, the resources, and the I guess the result of the young people who are graduating and that they're going back to their communities. And this is a big help, especially in our communities that really have to deal with safe drinking water. Someone just told me not too long ago that, oh, a few years ago, that I forget there was 180 communities that were on the boil water advisory. But because of this kind of training, of our own people dealing with how to keep our water safe, show that respect. We do have our traditions, but we also have to look at modern technology to help us within our communities. Now we're getting down to about 112 only. So it has dropped. So that's been good. And I'm so pleased that we're carrying on and it's going to continue.
Keegan, what lesson learned are you taking into the next internship?
Yeah, thanks, Desiree. So the first internship was it was a great learning opportunity for our team. We collected a ton of feedback from everyone involved. We've been working hard to make the next internship even bigger and better than the last one. I think one lesson that I'd like to highlight, something we love to learn, was how many experts in the field were excited to hear about our program when we shared with them. If we traveled to a conference or if we sent someone an email, gave someone a call, and we were talking about it, they got very excited. And a lot of these experts were even willing to share knowledge and be guest speakers during the internship. And so through their contributions, interns like Caleb were able to learn more about jobs in the field, see what those are like, and also to see how many Indigenous experts are already making a difference in that field. So that is one thing that we're going to continue in the second internship. We're going to bring in as many guest speakers and experts as we can to keep supporting that learning. And it's been really amazing to see just how much interest there is.
Kayla, what are the employment opportunities for graduates of the drinking water internship?
During the entire internship, they are interning in the local plant. So they are working full time on top of doing all the training that I mentioned previously. So hopefully the natural step is to continue working at those plants. As I mentioned before, a lot of these communities do have less capacity in terms of people working in the plants. So that is really the main stick, to be honest with you. The other career opportunities can be anywhere from continuing doing wastewater work instead of drinking water work, focusing maybe more on distribution work because we do a lot of training towards that, and our certifications are a little bit intertwined with distribution as well. So yeah, a lot of work within like the field of drinking and wastewater.
Some of the days we're training, it didn't feel like work or training at all. It was really fun to go out in the field and do all this type of work, and it was just really fun to go out there, make a difference, and help the best we can do. It was really fun.
Rachel, what does weaving science and technical skills with Indigenous knowledge look like in practice in training programs?
I think it's about bringing in a lot of different community knowledge. So what we teach at Water First is similar across different communities, but then we adapt it based on the community context and local Indigenous knowledge. So a lot of what we bring is science and technology based, and then we'll invite, similar to Maura, how we're inviting two elders in to share more of the local Indigenous knowledge. We kind of weave that in throughout. So it makes for a very dynamic programming environment where our programs are similar sometimes, but there's always different adaptations that we do based on where we are.
So what our people are trying to do is reach out to the surrounding communities and the businesses. And this is where others could get involved, is by when we have our water walks or we're trying to do something for our community, just to be supportive, come and join us. And remember, water is life. The land is life. That's where our food comes from. The air we breathe. And of course, the sun, it's also important. And we can all practice this. Miigwech.
On behalf of Water First, I would like to thank each and every one of you who joined us today and are continuing to learn more about our work. Water First is able to partner with more Indigenous communities across the country thanks to the continued support from donors and people like you. So we'll hope that you continue to be part of this work as we expand programming into more communities across the country. You can stay connected with us in our work by subscribing to our newsletter or following us at Water First NGO. And if you have any questions at all, Teresa will be following up from our team. You can also visit www.waterfirst.ngo to learn more. Thank you again for joining us and have a wonderful rest of your day.